say? If at first you get sued and have to pay out $25 million, not only is he dishonest, he's not too bright.
In rain.
Phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said if Floyd accepts the challenge, that he'll put it on the actual shit.
There's no way this man is broke. There's no way.
Yeah.
If he is, I don't know where the money went to.
Exactly.
Floyd Mayweather erupted after Jimmy Kimmel publicly mocked his obsession with money and exhibition fights during a live broadcast. The tense exchange left Mayweather visibly angry and stunned viewers with the unexpected confrontation on air.
Was for this, or was this just?
I guess it's something that they just made up.
Something made up. Do you think they're going to paint over that when it goes as everyone seems to think it's going to go?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You should buy that gym from him and knock it down with a wrecking ball. We can do that. That would be something you could potentially make. How much money could you reasonably walk out of this fight with?
350 million.
$350 million.
Yes.
Wow. I know you love money, right? I mean,
It's cool.
yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel's blunt questioning only intensified the situation, exposing deeper issues behind Floyd Mayweather's flashy image. Beneath the wealth and fame, financial cracks were emerging. Experts have long cautioned that reckless spending, bad investments, and unstable income could threaten even massive fortunes. And for Mayweather, those warnings now appear alarmingly real.
This is from Instagram. You're on what looks like a private plane. Just with a whole...
No, my private.
Your private plane, sorry. With a whole lot of money, and it looks like a couple of bowls of ketchup, maybe, also. Are you eating this money?
Those are cup holders.
Oh, those are coupled, okay. Sorry, I don't have a private plane.
Oh, you didn't flew on.
What do you do with all this money? I mean, like, do you
Enjoy
actually
it.
use it? I mean, are you
Enjoy
using the cash?
You know, cash is king.
Do you have an ATM card?
I'm the human ATM.
Floyd Mayweather was recently seen walking through New York City, pointing at various buildings and claiming ownership, projecting an image of enduring wealth and real estate dominance. However, this narrative quickly unraveled when investigative sources confirmed that many of the properties he highlighted were neither registered in his name nor linked to any of his known business entities. The glaring contradiction has only intensified speculation about the true state of Mayweather's finances and raised further questions about the lengths he's going to in order to maintain his public image.
Man, do we got money or not? I don't know what's going on.
I'm lost.
Man, I seen, I think Stephen A was talking about he was bankrupt.
See, I know he came out with his commercial talking about he just invested in this deal that's worth like $410 million. That's dealing with 60 apartment buildings.
Yeah, I heard the nigga bought half of New York.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so he walking down the street of New York. Yeah, I own that one. I own that one.
I seen that too.
So some people reached out to the agencies that he's connected with about this deal, and they said no comment.
Let me say something. I got a question. Niggas is nosy for no reason.
Nosy as hell.
What? What I'm reaching out to these people about? They deal for.
We want to talk to you about the Floyd Mayweather deal. No comment. They say his name ain't on the paperwork. Nothing.
I seen him on something. He look like a bum.
Floyd?
He was looking like a bum, act like he shaved his bum.
Oh, yeah, I seen that too.
There's no way this man
seen
is broke.
that
There's no way.
Yeah.
If he is, I don't know where the money went to.
Exactly.
Beyond financial concerns, Floyd Mayweather has faced ongoing legal troubles that further tarnish his public image. Notably, lawsuits filed by former girlfriends allege emotional mistreatment, adding serious weight to a reputation already clouded by past allegations. The details in these cases are extensive, pointing to a disturbing pattern rather than isolated events. These legal battles have become a persistent shadow over his legacy, making it increasingly difficult for Mayweather to separate himself from a history marked by controversy and personal turmoil.
Floyd Mayweather, real quick, okay? So somebody sent me a lawsuit. I gotta go through the details, but apparently, a few of his girls, strippers at Girl Collection, are suing him for loss of wages. Okay. Now I wasn't gonna pay attention to this because I was just like, y'all, and you suing him for loss of wages. I'm trying to figure that out. Like, you get your money from the paper. What does he have to do with your money? And so somebody put a little bird in my ear. They said this was the beginning of the lawsuit. Okay, they're gonna be adding more allegations of harassment and all this stuff, and I was just like, no, hold up, bro. You worked in a club, and so apparently there's more to come. All right, but here's my thing. I was like, the last person that filed a lawsuit against him, alleging anything, where's she at? Anybody seen it?
A recently surfaced video shows Floyd Mayweather spending lavishly on renting luxury mansions, properties he seemingly has no real use for. His choice to rent rather than buy or live in these homes appears driven more by image than practicality. Critics argue these extravagant displays reflect a desperate bid to maintain the illusion of wealth. For someone who brands himself a financial mastermind, this pattern points more toward recklessness than calculated strategy.
Just signed a deal to lease an apartment in Midtown Manhattan. He's going to be paying $100,000 per month for this place. Here's the apartment, you guys. It's got 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet. And the place is pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. The description says that this is a double unit and it is a corner unit, so you got a ton of natural light in here. Do you think this place is worth $100,000 per month? Why would Floyd spend $100,000 a month on this apartment? If I had to guess, it would be a combination of owning something is just kind of a liability. Plus, I'm pretty sure whenever you rent a place versus buy a place for business purposes, you're able to write off more of that lease payment. So if I had to guess, that $100,000 per month is going to be a pretty big write-off for him based on how he plans to use it.
In what many viewed as damage control, Floyd Mayweather released a video highlighting his real estate holdings across the U.S. He claimed a strategic shift from luxury homes to income-generating commercial properties, framing recent sales of high-end residences as part of a broader investment pivot aimed at long-term financial stability.
He's at it again. This time, not in the ring, but in the real estate market. The undefeated boxing champ just sold his Miami Beach mansion for a jaw-dropping $22 million. Let's break down the numbers and see why Floyd's still living up to his nickname. Mayweather originally bought this stunning waterfront property in 2021 for $18 million. Fast forward 3 years and he's walking away with a cool $4 million profit. Not bad, right? And here's a fun twist. The buyer is taking on a $13 million mortgage, which comes with monthly payments of nearly $99,000. Now, let's talk about the mansion itself. It's a 3-story masterpiece, spanning over 9,000 square feet, with 9 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. But the amenities? Next level, a 5,000 square foot rooftop with panoramic view.
In 2017, Floyd Mayweather attempted to silence critics by flaunting an uncashed $100 million check from his fight with Manny Pacquiao during a press conference. The dramatic display was meant to prove his financial strength, but it raised eyebrows instead. Many questioned why such a massive sum remained uncashed and unused for so long.
He's like if he's like the Floyd Mayweather of the MMA, the UFC.
I didn't know Conor McGregor was undefeated. I didn't know that he had a reign in MMA for 20 years and undefeated, and was world champion in 5 different weight classes. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys telling me something new. You say he's a Floyd Mayweather of the MMA.
Well, do you
I mean, if you say he's the Floyd Mayweather of the MMA, I'm trying to find out. Have you ever made $300 million in one night? Have you ever made $100 million in one night? Have you ever made $70 million in one night? So, as far as trying to say that he's the Floyd Mayweather MMA, I mean, it's okay to just to say it, but it's not true. I'm a legend, a living legend. You know, I gave just sport of boxing. I gave years and years of hard work. It was blood, sweat, and tears. Had a tremendous team, had a tremendous run. I think that it's time for Conor McGregor need to go out there and do what he do. But never compare Conor McGregor to me. That's a total disrespect.
Well,
I mean, once again, I'm an elephant. Elephant don't beef with ants. You know, elephant is so large you don't even see ants.
Floyd Mayweather has long justified his lavish lifestyle as the hard-earned reward for rising from poverty to global fame. To him, showcasing wealth isn't arrogance, it's motivation. He often reminds audiences of his humble beginnings, using his success story as proof of what relentless ambition can achieve. However, not everyone is convinced. Boxing legend Mike Tyson once remarked that Mayweather is a little too into himself, implying that his non-stop self-praise borders on delusion. Tyson's words echo a broader sentiment among fans and athletes that Mayweather's fixation on flaunting wealth, especially during times of global economic strain, comes off as tone-deaf and narcissistic rather than inspirational. When asked what lessons boxers like Mayweather and Pacquiao could learn about life outside the ring, Tyson hinted that Floyd, in particular, seemed to be struggling.
What lessons do you think Pacquiao and Mayweather could learn from you in terms of life away from the ring?
Well, Floyd seems to be going through some stuff like me right now, you know, like realizing no one's his friend and everybody's probably, even though I even hate to say it, maybe everybody's kind of a little jealous of him, you know, because he is Floyd Mayweather. I know these other guys got their money, but this guy is champ of the world, you know. It's hard to compete with that. So he's pretty big on those scales as far as on the celebrity scale. So he's gonna realize what life is all about, what friends are all about. Realize that we only have a few of them. And sometimes they're the only ones we got. They may not be the ones we want, but they're the ones we have. You know, sometimes we're gonna have glorious, glamorous friends, but they don't want to be our friends.
Mayweather's obsession with proving his financial superiority resurfaced when he compared his earnings to Anthony Joshua's, boasting about making $74 million in gate revenue without relying on large crowds. While the claim may be accurate, the tone felt undeniably defensive. Analysts viewed the remark as yet another sign of Mayweather's insecurity and his ongoing need to assert dominance over younger, increasingly popular fighters in the spotlight.
And then there was also some footage that dropped a couple hours ago on IFL TV that, you know, is the reason I'm making this video. He made some comments about Anthony Joshua and compared, you know, I guess, you know, his, you know, because, you know, he talks about his money a lot, so he compared, like, I guess, his fight with Pacquiao to Anthony Joshua, and he was saying, like, you know, basically, they didn't need 100,000 or 90,000 people to do X amount of dollars. You know, here, I'm gonna let you listen to it. Here's what he had to say verbatim. Here's what Floyd said about Anthony Joshua.
Talk about that. I was in the Guinness Book of World Record for breaking all the records. You didn't tell them that?
Of course you have.
For generating what billions in the sport of boxing, that or having the fastest sellout crowd.
But
I mean, and, you know, those guys done, you know. And I was watching a fight when I was at my Miami house. I was at my Miami home. I was watching a fight with Klitschko and the guy Joshua, and they said that this is electrifying, sort of like the Pacquiao and Mayweather. And I said, well, we didn't have to have all those hundreds of thousands to do a $74 million gate. So, and like I said before, but those guys put on a hell of a show. Like I said before, you know, I'm just on another planet. And you definitely know it. Because you've been around for years. And you see the same thing over and over and over.
Alright, so there you have it. Mayweather basically saying that, you know, he's on another planet and all this stuff, and that, you know, they didn't need 90,000 people and all this stuff. But, I mean, let's look at it like this.
Oscar de la Hoya, a longtime rival of Floyd Mayweather, has accused him of blatant hypocrisy. De La Hoya pointed out that while Mayweather often mocks YouTubers and crossover fighters like Ryan Garcia, he's profited immensely from the same crowd, earning millions through exhibition bouts against social media stars. By dismissing others as mere influencers, Mayweather undermines his own actions and credibility.
This kid Ryan Garcia, Tank got his followers from kicking ass. Ryan Garcia got his followers from YouTubers. There's a difference. So you want to be a YouTuber or you want to be a fighter? Tank is a fighter.
Oh, fuck. So Ryan Garcia's not a fighter? He's been fighting since he was 7 years old. He has 200 plus amateur fights. I don't care where his followers come from, or they come from fucking Mars. The fact is that Ryan's followers are selling this fight. And plus, don't you remember you fought YouTubers? Are you putting YouTubers down? You profited from them. I can't with you, dude. You're fucking dumbass. I can't wait. April 22nd, Ryan Garcia fucking knocking out Tank Davis.
De La Hoya and others believe Mayweather is seeking attention or money, pointing to his frequent media appearances and controversial statements as efforts to regain public interest. His post-retirement career is centered on exhibition matches, easy paydays against non-professionals like YouTubers and MMA fighters, offering minimal risk and massive profits.
I've been somebody since I'm 8 years old. This was my idol. It's a tremendous honor, but make no mistake, June 11th, I'm bringing bad intentions to that man, and I don't care if an exhibition or not. You signed to fight me, it's no quarter, so it's kill or be killed.
Another big event, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a crazy crowd, I'm pretty sure, but I've been here so many times, you know, I've been fighting since 1987 to now, so I know what it takes when, you know, at any level, so I'm just happy to be here.
I watched every one of his fights. I've never seen anybody throw combinations with the intent and the speed and the accuracy of that man, and I was captivated from that night on. So I've been Team Mayweather since I'm 9 years old, but like I said, when it's time to get to business, we're going to get to business. We're going to fight.
I will continue to have fun, entertain, until I'm ready to say, you know what, enough is enough.
While Mayweather defends his exhibition matches as fun, boxing purists argue they degrade the sport, turning it into a cheap spectacle. Oscar de la Hoya specifically criticized Mayweather's bout with John Gotti III, calling it embarrassing and damaging to his legacy. He urged Floyd to stop these matches before they cause irreparable harm to his image.
Floyd Mayweather fought another exhibition against Gotti last Saturday. A real the crowd booing in the arena at the end. But in the middle of the second round, Floyd literally had the referee swapped out. He didn't like that the referee told him to stop hitting behind the head. Floyd is used to having the refs do whatever he wants, and he wasn't getting his way this time. It was so embarrassing. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard. I know life is expensive. But come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse. Your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. I hate seeing this happen, bro.
In a resurfaced moment, Jimmy Kimmel joked about challenging Floyd Mayweather to a reading test on air, echoing a long-standing feud with 50 Cent, who once dared him to read a page from Harry Potter. Clips of Mayweather struggling with reading have fueled damaging rumors about his literacy. Mayweather dismissed the criticism, stating, "Reading doesn't define success." However, the issue became a recurring point of mockery, further questioning his credibility. In addition to this, Mayweather's legal history, marked by multiple convictions and arrests, presents a sharp contrast to the polished image he projects. Fans and commentators are left wondering how someone with so many red flags continues to operate so publicly without facing more scrutiny.
Smith just publicly thanked Floyd Mayweather, but a lot of people are calling him out for that. Where it all began was right after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, which Will Smith said almost ended his career. With Will Smith apologizing for getting a 10-year ban from the Oscars, and he said many celebrities would not return his calls. And the only exception was Floyd Mayweather, who called up Will Smith every day for 10 days straight. With Will Smith saying that the only reason Floyd Mayweather called was just because he wanted to make sure he was okay. And Will Smith said before that he only met Floyd Mayweather a couple times before, calling him an acquaintance, but now would call him a friend for life. But I don't think Will Smith should be saying this because Floyd Mayweather was arrested in 2002 for punching 2 women at his nightclub. And due to that, he had a 1-year suspended jail sentence in 2004. And then he was arrested again for assaulting a bouncer at a nightclub, getting another 90-day suspended sentence. Then was arrested for beating up his ex-girlfriend Josie Harris, which his son, when he was 10 years old, testified against his father saying he was assaulting his mother. So Will Smith is not a bad guy, but clearly made a mistake at the Oscars, and it's not a good idea for him to go befriend Floyd Mayweather. Because life's ultimately about who you associate with, and with that, I'm Charles Pearl. I hope you learned something.
Boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. recently criticized Floyd Mayweather's legacy, arguing that he shifted the sport's priorities. While Mayweather made tremendous money, Jones said, he did so for personal gain rather than for the sport. According to Jones, Mayweather's focus on wealth over honor has transformed boxing's culture from one of legacy building to profit chasing. This sentiment resonates with many frustrated fans. Despite his undefeated 50-0 record and massive earnings, Mayweather's image is slowly unraveling due to accusations, lawsuits, questionable spending habits, and behavior, leaving doubts about the lasting impact of his legacy.
Because he did a great job, but he did it for himself, and it worked for him. But everybody now wants the Mayweather concept. Because Mayweather made so much money, staying undefeated, waiting to the right time to fight Pacquiao, finding the right people to fight at the right time. He monopolized the business. But the problem was, it only made him money and the people he was fighting. It didn't make money for the whole sport. So what he did himself a great job, but it hurt the sport. Because not everybody wants to fight, stay undefeated. You understand me? Me, it's like when two guys get here, they gotta meet. Wait. They was here 5 years ago. They should have met. You understand me? Because now, we probably could have got 3 good fights out of it. You understand me? But because we waited too long, the problem what people don't understand is, tomorrow's not promised to nobody. Guess what?
Floyd Mayweather now faces significant challenges, with allegations of a $42 million theft threatening his once untouchable image. His trusted security figure, Big Adam, is under scrutiny, and investigations continue to unfold. As the pressure mounts, fans and critics question if Mayweather's empire is more fragile than it appeared. Despite being one of boxing's biggest names, his legacy is crumbling under a cloud of growing scandals and lies. From shady investments to exhibition gimmicks, his credibility is taking major hits. Once respected for his skill, Mayweather is now seen as a fallen icon, desperately clinging to relevance and exposing the cracks in his empire.
But being from Vegas, he had, went back to Vegas and Florida and picked him up. And so it was around late December, he had hit me and said, "Hey man, Floyd is getting rid of one of his dudes. If I can get you over here, would you want to work?" And just me wanting to change the pace at the time, I was like, yeah, hell yeah. So Floyd was coming down to playing a celebrity game with Team Watson. Mm-hmm. And so it was like December 14th or something like that. So I asked one of the dudes to cover me, and I went over to the Van Nuys airport and met him. And so, Church had already told him about me. Big Mark, rest in peace, had told him about me. And so when I met him at the airport, he got off the plane, looked me up and down, was like, "Big Church, you good?" I was like, Church was like, "Hell yeah." "Big Mark, you good?" He's like, "Hell yeah." He's like, "All right, yeah, he on." Yeah. So I started with Mayweather December 28th, 2007.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and insights in the next one.